Hind. Today we shall resume our journey and I shall cover the events that happened on 25th of October 1947. Where we left yesterday, that is last night of 24th October. By that time, Mahura plant had been shut down. A bit of panic had set in both in Baramulla and Srinagar. While Maharaja had been brave enough to go through all the motions of Dussehra celebrations, in many circles it was being rumored, and rumored wrongly, that invaders had reached Baramulla. Whereas the fact was, Brigadier Rajendra Singh and his men were holding on to their position at Mahura, which was attacked only once during the intervening night of 24th and 25th October. With their vehicles now stuck on the other side of the blown up bridge at Uri, raiders had slowed down in their pace, and what Brigadier Rajendra Singh had set for himself was kind of getting achieved. During the only attempt which was made on the intervening night of 24th and 25th, troops of state forces under Brigadier Rajendra Singh had held on and had foiled the assault. Something else had happened at a place called Palandri on 24th, but news broke out only on 25th morning. And that was declaration of independence by one gentleman called Sardar Ibrahim Khan, who happened to be very close to family of Maharaja Punch. Having served as MLA of the Parishad, the kind of assembly that Maharaja had put in place, he had turned hostile, and he's one man who's seen as a person who pushed Pakistani narrative and anti-Maharaja sentiment to a certain level in the region of Punch, Mirpur in Jammu region. So this gentleman actually had crossed over to Pakistan towards end of September or beginning of October, dates are not known. And on 4th October, sitting at a place called Murree, which was in Pakistani Punjab and roughly opposite Muzaffarabad, a hill station, Murree, he had declared independence. Then some thought happened, and it was decided by planners in Pakistan that since Murree fell in Pakistan, it would be inappropriate to declare independence from there. So Mr. Ibrahim Khan declared or redeclared independence from the state from a place called Palandri, where he never went. It was all state managed. Reporters were put into service and they were told that there's a headquarter which has come up. The new government was called Azad Kashmir government. Ironically, no part of Kashmir was under that so-called Azad Kashmir government, since the government, the only area which was under Pakistan control by that time was western edge of Punch district, like Avanpattan, a bit of area around Kotli, Sensa and Palandri. Palandri in any case had no troops, so it had just been taken over. So the notional headquarters came up at Palandri. All future announcements were to be made from there, even when the so-called Prime Minister of Azad Kashmir had been sitting in Pakistan. So news of a part of state becoming independent reached Srinagar on 25th October morning. So did it at Delhi and Rawalpindi, as far as formal intimation was concerned. Back at Srinagar, by the evening of 24th October, after Indian Army and Defence Forces had been given warning order to get ready, a plane had taken off from Delhi and had landed at Srinagar in the evening. On board were Mr. V.P. Menon, who happened to be the Principal Secretary to the Home Minister of India, Sardar Patel, and Mr. Menon also happened to be the advisor to Ministry of States. Now, Ministry of States doesn't exist today, but it had a lot of relevance in 1947, and it was that ministry under Sardar Patel which was instrumental in getting states on board for merger with the Union of India. Not known to many people, Mr. V.P. Menon actually takes the credit for uniting India in his capacity as advisor and the closest aide to Mr. Sardar Patel. Incidentally, Mr. V.P. Menon is not the same person with the same similar name who is responsible for what happened in 1962 during Indo-China conflict. These are two different people. So Mr. Menon, having arrived on 24th, met Maharaja on 25th of morning, 25th October morning. During the discussion, he conveyed Mr. Nehru's point yet again that whatever is to be done between J&K and Government of India will only be done after Mr. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah is taken on board. Pandit Nehru's love for Mr. Abdullah remains a mystery even today, and many people actually attribute all the troubles in J&K state today to that affair between two gentlemen. Now, Sheikh Abdullah had earlier been arrested by Maharaja for sedition, but had been released by Maharaja at its own, because Maharaja also read the battle carefully, and he found that unless until Sheikh is given some space, Pandit Nehru is not going to cooperate. I have already spoken about how Mr. R.R. Batra, Ramlal Batra, the Deputy PM of the state, who had been sitting in Srinagar, in Delhi, trying to open channels with Government of India for merger with the Union of India, had just been ignored by Mr. Pandit Nehru. Now, Maharaja was offering space to Sheikh Abdullah, but Sheikh Abdullah was a character in his own right. So 25th, as the discussion started in Srinagar, same day, Sheikh Abdullah flew out to Delhi to his good friend and kind of avoided taking part in the discussions. By the evening, a lot of ground had been covered between Delhi and Srinagar, and as the evening turned into light, rumors were being heard that some invaders had been able to bypass Baramulla and were headed towards Srinagar city. Mr. Menon at that point firstly requested and then insisted that Maharaja must leave Srinagar immediately. Sheikh Abdullah was to later say that Maharaja ran away, while hiding the fact that he was the first one to fly out on 25th to Delhi. Further, it is well recorded in Mr. Menon's account that he insisted on Maharaja leaving Srinagar on 25th evening. So Maharaja, his family and most of senior functionaries thereafter left for Jammu by road on the evening of 25th October. Mr. Menon and defense officers, including later on Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, stayed back at Srinagar. In the middle of night, Mr. Menon was woken up by the Prime Minister of J&K, Mr. Meherchand Mahajan, who told him that invaders have already reached Srinagar and are now headed towards where Mr. Menon lay asleep. And he requested Mr. Menon to rush to the airfield and fly out to Delhi. Mr. Menon, however, kept his wits about, and he spent the night in his room and then took the flight to Delhi next morning on 26th. 26th October was a day full of events, more of political in nature. We shall speak about that tomorrow. Thank you. Jai Hind.